All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Welcome to yet another episode of Markets and Nonsense. I'm Chavan, the host, and along with me, the market strategist of Indiacharts, Rohit. Rohit, all done and dusted. Were you awake last night?
No, no, no. Don't do that. Some people message me. I said sleep over it. We got an idea in the morning at 6:30 or so. Six
Hmm,
thirty-seven when I got up. Then I checked what happened.
yeah. The first thing I got up in the morning, the first thing I did was like, okay, what happened? Oh God, there was like hundreds of messages for me also. But market was, you know, everyone thought there'll be a big gap down, but
Hmm.
market said no boss. I've already digested this, and it has just hold it on. Continue
I, I
करे
I actually I actually thought it might even gap up, but then not after the news, before the
Hmm,
news, because I thought maybe he will not be as aggressive in the announcement. But it was, yeah, I guess he had said he would be.
hmm,
But this is the story with news events,
hmm,
especially nowadays. How the Federal Reserve does it is the same how the government is doing it. They let you know in advance what they are going to do. Okay, they let you
hmm,
digest it over 1 month. Ki, हाँ, we are doing it, we are doing it, we are going to do, we are going to do, we are going to do. So when the event actually happens, by that time 90% is discounted, only
yes,
5 to 10% is left, which happens in 1 day.
hmm,
So usually the event is over in a day.
hmm,
This has been going on for more than a decade. It's not new.
yeah,
Uh, I gave the example of Brexit last time. Brexit was announced 1 year ago. Britain will leave Europe. Europe will slow down. End of the story. Europe story over. Everything. The day Brexit was actually announced, 2 days. Day of announcement, overnight gap, over.
hmm,
It didn't
hmm,
even stay intraday. Intraday bottom होके भाग गया Nifty.
hmm,
So that has become a lesson of how these things are managed. So you have to see it, know it, and expect it. So it was supposed to be the worst over yesterday, today. That's it. Beyond this, there is nothing. Beyond this, if there is something, then it's beyond what we know. Then we don't know enough about what is going on.
hmm.
And I in fact think so. I think this is what is really going on. And some people are from the ministry were saying this on TV, and the media was rejecting it. And I said it on Twitter yesterday or day before. And indirectly, I'm hearing it. And if you think it's logical, so what am I saying? Trump has announced these tariffs. There can only be two purposes. One purpose is he has to collect money and lower his deficit. That is the obvious purpose.
Hmm.
But the other one, which looks likely also, that he wants to negotiate with everybody. Negotiate what?
Yeah. Hmm.
If he is looking at negotiating, bringing down tariffs country by country, which means if India reduces tariffs on everything, will he reduce it further? And if
Hmm.
that is true, Vietnam just announced zero tariffs back as a countermeasure. They said zero. Now, what if everybody goes to zero, except China? China may retaliate. That is the odd guy out. Okay.
Hmm.
He may retaliate, negotiate what, I don't know. But others may just say, हाँ ठीक है, ले लो, बंद करो ये सब. Then what will it mean for the whole world? So the worst is already now known. Ki this is the highest tariff he can put. After this, it is going to get negotiated downwards. And negotiated downwards means all countries are going to reduce their tariffs.
Correct, Rohit, but this might be applicable to countries which are export driven, right? But we as a country, we are more of import rather than exporting. So,
No, that's not true. That's a lie that we are telling ourselves. When we did reforms, we were supposed to do two things: capital account convertibility and current account convertibility. Uh, that means that you allow capital to come and go from this country freely, and you allow trade also to happen freely. This was part of the reforms. India said trade, they went first, but they put all they maintained a lot of the duties because they wanted to protect the domestic industry.
correct.
Capital account, they were very scared to do it because they said पैसा आएगा जाएगा तो साउथ ईस्ट एशियन क्राइसिस 1997 जैसा हो जाएगा. So they took very, very long to allow capital controls to go. Slowly they allowed FIIs, first only 20% of equity, Then when the next government came, they said, okay, we'll allow it till 75%, and so on and so forth. And that also in equity. FDI was still controlled for a very, very long period of time.
Mm.
And China's entire investment story was around FDI. So by controlling so much, we actually failed to attract the capital we could have on FDI, which is the more stable capital, which stays. It doesn't leave like portfolio inflows. Portfolio capital is the risky capital. We have ended up attracting only that over 2 decades. Let me tell you. So we have attracted the risky capital and not so much of the non-risky capital. Okay. So if we are not a big exporter, it is because we were too scared and wanted to protect our domestic industry. Okay. If we were a little less scared and we became a little more bold, then probably the domestic industry would have reformed faster to becoming globally competitive.
Competitive.
We- We've allowed them too much time to try and become competitive. It's like more than 3 decades now since reform started in India.
Yeah.
So 3 decades to become globally competitive is a very long period of time. 10 years should have been enough.
Mm.
So we are not export oriented is not by choice. We are exporting. Okay, it's 3% of whatever.
Yeah.
That is why we say that it's a small number, will not affect us. But our entire services industry is dependent on that. All our jobs in IT are dependent on that. So, and now if you lower barriers, uh, then aren't you going to want to become competitive?
Mm.
How else are you going to grow? So it's wrong to say that we are not dependent, but we were supposed to be. We were supposed to have become export oriented.
Correct.
So
Yeah. No wonder the IT is down today. Is that the same reason? 4%.
and I don't know whether IT is directly impacted.
Yeah,
So I
that
think
is what. Yeah.
IT is just a correlation to Nasdaq and US markets. I mean, S&P is down 3%, 4%. So IT is down 4%. It's just a correlation. It's
Mm.
not because there are any direct duties on IT.
Mm. And pharma is exempted. Big gap up, but it has given up. But pharma, I'm able to see a lot of five waves now, on the rise. Do you think pharma is like the sector now, along with PSUs and metals?
I think pharma is good from a 5 year perspective,
Mm.
but on the monthly RMI, it is in sell.
Yeah.
But it is
Mm.
also at the 20-month average. So I'm a little confused. Will it extend from the 20-month average to a new cycle, or will it continue to consolidate in a trading range on the monthly chart till the cycle is complete? So that's the part I'm confused on a long-term basis. Short-term, I understand. I mean, there's a 5 wave rise, which means 3 month, 6 month period, you can get a rally in pharma along with the market. But there could be another leg down in pharma at a later point of time. Further consolidation because they've had a very good rally in the last 2 years. So then valuations need to consolidate a bit. That is just my thought.
Okay.
So long term, all good, but short term, I mean, medium term, this is the only thing I see with pharma.
Okay. Now that this is done, this news is over. How do you see the markets reacting globally as well as for India?
No, so
For
there was
India,
some.
yeah,
So there was
India.
something I was trying to say when you cut me off on that India is export oriented. What I was trying to say is that we may, instead of deglobalization, we may actually being the doing the greatest move towards reglobalization. So in an environment where all taxes come down around the world, if it happens,
Mm.
you're actually saying a very, very indirect global free trade agreement happening without an agreement.
Mm.
Free movement of goods and services. This has multiple impacts. Once you do that, the
Mm.
chances of all countries that participate, chances of them going into inflation or hyperinflation becomes very, very less. Why? Because global arbitrage, which is what our IT services sector was all about. It was nothing but an arbitrage. Why did goods move to China? It was called a structural shift. I mean, that is what we were taught in MBA. First structural shift, second structural shift, and there was a third one. But essentially, movement of goods, services, manufacturing out of US into other parts of the world. Why? Because it is cheaper. So that ensured that you didn't have inflation for 2 decades, even when you had GFC and all that and money printing. QE1, QE2, you had no inflation because cheap goods from China supported that. Let's understand that this is now macro I'm talking. Now we are saying, okay, that trade is over. Now what is the trade? You say, okay, open the whole world. Open the whole world, let anybody sell anywhere. So there will never be a shortage of goods, which causes inflation typically. So you kill the inflation animal first. Okay. Then you kill the interest rate animal. Okay. And now if you have done both of these things, then you're really dealing with uh, a market which is very, very different. So therefore, your question was, what happens to market from here? I think our market, fortunately, because like you say, 3% of GDP export is discounted everything very quickly, least impacted, And I think more it's because we are already technically bottomed out. And because we are technically bottomed out, we are no more to sell, very limited to sell. There's a capitulation of sorts. Okay. And because there is a capitulation of sorts, uh, my worst case scenario here was the 20-day average of 61% of the last rally, which is 22930. If it happens, okay. And just a sec, I have a relentless bell ringing in the background. If I don't, I'll have to just come back.
Yeah. Okay, just couple of minutes, guys. Okay, just couple of minutes. He'll be back. Okay, perfect. Okay.
So with that as our worst case scenario, I think the downside upside still remains the same 61% retracement of this entire fall, 24,630. If still what should be our next thing to watch out for?
Yeah. And yeah. So from here onwards, you'll see a perfect 5-wave raise on the daily.
I think so. It will look 5, but I might not mark it as 5. I might mark it as, can I give it away?
Yeah. Go on.
Give it away.
Hmm.
I will mark it as 1 2 1 2 1 2. I
Okay.
will not mark it as 5 waves. Why? Because the rule of alternation. Now, for those who understand Elliott wave, it's not a rule, first of all, it's a guideline. The guideline of alternation is that price and structure of wave 2 and wave 4 have to
Correct.
be different.
Yeah,
Here
but
we both have we have a 50% retracement in both.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this
So
is a
the
deep cut. It should not have been such a deep cut in wave 4. So the odds are that it will become 1 2 1 2. We'll only know later on. See, this is all guesswork, right? It's a guideline. It's not a rule.
it's not a
But this
rule.
is the same guideline which at 9,000 and 10,000 and 11,000 of Nifty post-COVID allowed me to mark 1 2 1 2 and stay the course. When we started weekend with Indiacharts, I was still saying 3 4 3 4 5. I was not saying 5 years are over. If you remember the first debate we had, it was essentially that, because you had two zigzags. Both the first two corrections were zigzags. There was no alternation. And that's why it went on till October 21 and did end in March of 21. Same thing here. We don't have it. In fact, even in when we hit 15,200, that time you had three moves which retraced, but then at that time you also had an overlap, so no choice of doing 1 2 1 2. This time there's no overlap, so it can be an open debate. It doesn't matter. See, in any case, when you cross the high and you do 5 waves, that's enough indication for you in terms of trend.
Yeah.
Baki, this is just a technical thing of what we will do after 5 waves.
Correct. Rohit, now the next trigger, RBI. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, not sure. Monday, I guess.
Monday, Tuesday. Usually they have at least a 2-day meeting. So I guess MTC meeting. So meeting, the dates are announced. It's 8th and 7th, 8th and 9th of April.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
9th is Wednesday, so they will announce only on Wednesday.
All right. Now, do you expect a rate cut from here?
Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah.
And look at
20,
the Indian 10-year GSEC bond yield.
mm,
It's
50.
just gone vertically down yesterday.
Yeah. 50 basis points straight away.
No, I don't think they'll be that aggressive.
Hmm.
They'll keep doing 25, 25.
25. Yeah. Hmm. That
I
is
don't, I
enough for the trigger. Now, one more trigger.
So it's like more about the direction rather than the quantity. Once they give a clear direction, key yes, we want to cut rates.
Hmm.
That sets the course. So
Hmm.
far, so because so far they have been maintaining neutral stance. Okay,
Hmm.
they say neutral and they're cutting rates. And that
Yeah.
neutral has to change to towards a dovish side. That's what they are
Hmm.
not yet done. So that would help if they just go dovish and cut rates 25 at a time, because that allows them to keep cutting for the rest of the year. If they do it all at once, I mean, they can do it all at once, but I don't think the, I don't know. I don't know if they'll have that much guts. But you have a new governor. He might have guts.
Yeah.
You never know.
But having regularly talking to you last week, last 1 week, you were a little jittery the way US markets is falling. I mean, are you getting over with it?
So, see, yes, US market fall reached a point where I thought it bottomed also, and now today it's breaking that low. But
Hmm.
I think, I mean, it's finally down to news event. Now, the news event was the main thing. That news event is now behind. Now what? I mean,
Hmm.
look at the DAX. It opened 2-3% lower. Now it's 1.2%. This is
Hmm.
actual market. Now. Most of Asia is like that. The big sell-off is only in maybe Japan,
Hmm.
not everywhere. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's not as bad as it's making out to be low. I mean, made out to be low.
Hmm.
There are a lot more triggers, which and they have a lot more things in their hand. For example, US has still not announced tax cuts that they promised. So they're going one step at a time. Let us do the bad stuff first. Let us get this out of the way.
Hmm.
Okay, once they get this out of the way, then they can do the positive stuff. People have not noticed that the FOMC uh, actually did went backwards on quantitative tightening. From they had already reduced it from 90 to 60 trillion dollars in the previous meetings. Now they've reduced it to 40 trillion dollars. What stops them from going to zero?
Hmm.
So then QT is completely over. They're not tightening anymore. Then they are ready to do QE and they're ready to do interest rate cuts all over again. And he's willing to do tax cuts. Now put all of
Hmm.
that together. Then what happens? So this is all you can say. This is all imagination, but you have to have some imagination. But it's based on what they are doing. Now, they have done QT. It's not like I'm imagining QT. They've done it twice. They have cut QT size. They're
Hmm.
going towards zero, and
Okay.
and US bond yields are falling, and the dollar is falling. The best of all, the dollar index is down to 101.6 today. 1.6% fall in the dollar index.
And gold is like never seen before.
Rock
Uh,
steady.
yeah. Did you even think of this ever? I mean, where does this stop? The gold. It's shining and it's like
It's
unbelievable.
over. I tell you, it's overdue for a consolidation.
Yeah.
That much is sure,
Hmm.
because it's been a long run, and I think this run possibly it these runs also happen because of expected negative news like this.
Hmm.
Seasonally, also the period from December to March is usually bullish for gold. So we are at the end of the seasonality. So I think this is the last move up for gold for this year. I'm making a standout call over here.
Hmm.
That doesn't end the long term bull market, but I think it's time for a long consolidation
Hmm.
within the next, I don't know, $10-20. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about overall that it's overdue now. Somewhere here, when it stops, it will go into a long consolidation phase.
Yeah.
And that, that
Much due on that. Yeah. But now the real FOMO kicks in where people start, pumping their money into gold, and that is where the problem lies. Anyways, so Rohit, so you'll continue your bullish stance and wonderful long short report. Those who have not read, please go to indiacharts.com. You can show them, Rohit. Where do they just go through?
Yeah, today we've spoken a lot, not used much of charts.
Yes.
Uh, so what you do is you go to indiacharts.com. Okay, either you can click on market analysis long short report
Yeah.
and you read the latest report here. If you don't have access to it, you need to go to Insiders Club and just join the club.
Okay. Perfect. Don't blink.
Yeah.
I read that. What a fantastic report it is. Uh,
See,
yeah.
this is a recount. I'm just showing it.
Yeah.
This is a marking on my chart. It is 1212 and not 1234. Let's see.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. 1212. Hmm.
And this is very similar to, so we go back and I was just showing 15,200. This is how it started here also. We actually went from here like series of
Hmm.
impulses. Then you did 3434 later on. Each one retracing 61, 61, 61. This time we did 50, which is
Hmm.
fine, which is a sign of strength, but I'm just saying it's something similar.
Hmm. 1212. So long, long way to go for the wave one. Then you know,
I hope so. I hope so because and
and
it's going
even
to be.
if you see some of the medium term sentiments, it's still at the bottom. It's not like it has zoomed past the
I
this
mean,
one.
just
So a lot of
check
room.
out. So
Hmm.
now since you're mentioning sentiment, and so here is strike for those who don't see it or use it. Number of stocks below the 200 DMA have started to recover, but we are here. Okay, we are here.
Hmm.
We have to get up here and stay up here like this before we end a bull run. This is
Hmm.
just the bottom.
Yes.
So this is one part of the story, and the
Yeah.
second one is domestic institutions who bought this dip on
Hmm.
index futures. Again, they were cutting back here
Hmm.
slightly. They bought this. They even bought this whole phase all the way up till here.
Yeah.
They are buying. That's how bullish your domestic institutions are. You
Hmm.
want to fight domestic institutions? You do that. Don't
Hmm.
ask me to do it. Okay. They are buying whether for the wrong reasons because they have too much money. Who cares? You don't like the fundamentals, DIs are buying because they have money. That's enough reason to be long. If you don't want a good reason, you don't want a 6 month long reason, ki, okay, things will improve, interest rates will get cut, then here's the liquidity reason. This is the liquidity. How are you going to fight this?
Hmm. Huge money pumping in again. Okay, fine. Let's start with the questions. Any questions from the people over here? You can just comment it and we'll be taking up. Okay, outside. Okay, outside US and Canada futures, there is no major world index. Futures down greater than or minus 2%. The market reaction seems little. US shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Your views.
No, but it's, I mean, I don't know if it's US shooting in the foot because they're just using this as a tactic and they don't mind. I mean, I think Donald Trump had this well planned that this will happen. It was transmitted to the market. So market already fell 10% over the last month. This 2% fall is only a retest of the lows. We are back to only where we were one week ago. We are not like significantly below that. But after hitting that low, we bounce back and then it falls on this news.
Hmm.
Like a double bottom situation.
Yeah.
That's what I think is getting missed. Slightly, maybe okay, a little lower than a double bottom, but it's almost a double bottom.
Hmm. Okay. Next question is there a possibility that global portfolio reallocation in the coming weeks into US, sorry, EU, European Union, China, and India? who are supposed to lead the global growth from here?
Yeah, surely. I mean, that rotation has been going on and it should happen because the dollar is falling, the money is going
Hmm.
to go somewhere. And yeah,
Okay, fine. Any okay. Someone is asking what are the odds of 21,900?
hmm, I don't see it right now. I mean,
Okay.
unless you break 22, 20,
Nine.
you have to first break 22930 before we start even thinking about anything lower.
Okay, Archit Mehra, good question. Structural changes happening in the global economy. What options does us have other than they buying from somewhere? If it was India only, then it would have been an issue. But here, everyone is taxed.
I didn't get the question.
Uh, no, he's just talking from a taxation thing. Structural changes happening in global economy. What options does us have other than they buying from somewhere? If it was India only, then it would have been an issue. But here, everyone is taxed. Not sure.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect competitiveness of one country versus the other. I mean, that is true. And that is something I also mentioned a month back. That if
Hmm.
just to be a flat tax on everybody, then it doesn't affect our competitiveness. It's just about US collecting tax, collecting certain amount of money from everybody to pay for its bills. I mean, that is the first reason that he did it.
Hmm. Okay, fine. Okay. Any other questions, guys? You can just. Okay, what is the outlook of silver? Ketan is asking. Any outlook on the silver?
So it's pulling back. It's pulling back more than gold. It has been slower than gold. Now, if gold does do a consolidation, as I'm saying,
Hmm.
then it would make it tougher for silver. It's unfortunately underperformed. But yeah, we need to watch whether it holds support. It has an initial support here somewhere around $32 point 40.
Hmm.
Let's see if it holds or not. We need to really watch.
Okay, that's it. I guess not many questions today. Let's wind up. Okay,
Yeah, surprisingly on a day like this, surprising.
everyone is calm. You know, after seeing how the market reacted, everyone is calm. Trust me, at 7 o'clock in the morning, that was not the case.
Either
Believe
they're
me.
calm or they're frozen.
At 7 o'clock in the morning, I saw it like WhatsApp messages, news everywhere, and I thought, okay, boss, this is going to be a 500 points gap down. You know, okay. How is Elliott waves different from Neo waves? Oh God. Okay, the readings are completely different according to them. Okay.
It's
Uh,
very different. I don't know how much more to explain, but the whole methodology is very, very different.
hmm. Okay. Can this retracement in Nifty be WXYXZ? Yes, it seems like WXYXZ, Rohit.
Uh,
Oh,
yes.
no, no, no. I mean, he's asking instead of 1212. Oh, no. Uh,
See, anything can be anything at some point of time. So then
hmm,
it's out of debate. Now, if you want to know my view, I've given it. If
yeah.
you ask me both questions, ये भी हो सकता है, वो भी हो सकता है. You want me to say both? Then I am not that person who says both things.
Hmm,
You've come to the wrong person.
yeah. So in wave two, you are saying that it is WXYXZ, right? The latest
Yeah, yeah. This
yeah,
minor wave which we are seeing is a complex
complex
WXYZ.
WXYXZ. All right. Fine. Thank you, Rohit. Any ending statements before we wind up?
I think next few days and this weekend will be very, very interesting.
Hmm,
Because you'll see the reaction from various countries now, and what steps they are taking to keep this from happening.
Mm.
I don't know if there was a particular day. I mean, is this are these tariffs applicable from day one?
No, no, no. It is like 5 days or fifth, I guess. From fifth. But now the negotiations will start, Every country will be like calling up US now and the negotiations
So
will
when you
start.
say fifth, that's the weekend, no? So that's why I said that the weekend is important. By Monday, when we
Mm,
all come back to the market, it'll be a different world. It will
mm,
either be the end of the world, everybody is put tariffs back on US, which is unlikely, except for China that may try that tactic. But I don't
mm,
know why they should have. So US has been smart by saying that we'll put less tariffs than you put on us. Now, what have you got to do to say that we will put more now? Tum already you are putting more.
mm,
so so that's ultimate stupidity. He's played that game well. Okay. Now it is up to everybody to decide whether they want to play this game or not. So that's why I said this is going to be this can end up becoming the greatest reglobalization measure. Forget deglobalization. Greatest
mm,
reglobalization. That should be the next long shot report.
mm. And don't blink. Right.
Yeah. I mean, look at
Fantastic.
what is the breadth today. Market is down. Advances are 2 is to 1.
Yeah.
Advances to decline ratio is 2 is to 1. Stocks are going up. If you ask
Mm,
anybody who has a portfolio is up in the last 4 days. सिर्फ निफ्टी देख के थोड़ी पोर्टफोलियो होता है.
mm. Perfect. Thank you so much, Rohit. Wonderful session.
Yeah.
And to all the viewers, don't forget to read the long shot report published this week. So don't forget it. Do read it. Thank you so much. This is the end of the session. See you next week. Oh, okay. Next week, Rohit is not available. So see you after a fortnight. So till then, take care. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.